Hi, everybody. Welcome to Midweek at Main. These are reflections on the gospel for everyday life. And each week we take these reflections on the good news of what God has done for us and to us and for the world through Jesus Christ. We take these reflections and we look at how God's steadfast love moves into our daily life so that we can apply and trust and walk in the truth that He's given us. So this last weekend, we started our January 1st, our year beginning conversation from Luke chapter 17, verses 20 through 37, a text where Jesus addresses both Pharisees and disciples on the coming kingdom and also our anticipation. And I think every one of us anticipates everything in our life to a certain degree. We anticipate what we need to do for dinner tonight. We anticipate all the things that are coming up in our weekly schedule, our calendar, our attitudes, our relationships, people we run into. We are anticipating people. Jesus kind of rebukes a little, corrects a little, the attitude of the heart in the middle of that anticipation. And he does this by drawing everybody's attention to a couple of things. In verse 25 and in verse 33, there's this clarity that comes in. Jesus mentions that his disciples are desiring or will desire to see the days of the Son of Man. And basically what he's saying is they're going to desire for God through Christ to bring his reigning judgment on the world. And he says, and you won't see it. He goes, you won't see those days the way that you're thinking about it. And then he goes on, he goes, besides, I'm going to have to suffer at the hands of this generation yet. There's a sense in which he's preparing his disciples to recognize the days in front of them have got some bumps that they're not going to like. And yet he takes their mind and he goes past that. And he compares Noah and the story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah from Genesis 19. He brings those things into view to give these guys an example of look, there's a reality of when it comes, and you'll know when you know. But until then, and this is where verse 33 is so valuable, until then, don't forget that those who lose their lives for my sake will keep it, and those who try to keep their lives will lose it. It's very important. And then he kind of reiterates that by reminding us that for every single one of us, we have a tendency to look back. He says in verse 32, remember Lot's wife. And then in verse 33, he talks about keeping and losing your life. And what he does to reiterate that point is he helps us look at our own lives. And he says, look, if you're on the roof, for example, and you've got a bunch of stuff that really means the world to you, and you love those things, and the flash of lightning comes across the sky, Jesus returns, look, you're going to want to not be the person who goes back down in the house to gather their stuff or to have another minute of intimacy with your whatever. And this happened to me the other night. Actually, last night we had some storms roll through. I'm recording this on Tuesday, by the way. We had some storms roll through, and in those storms, lightning struck pretty close by the house, and I heard the thunder and everything pretty close after the lightning strike. And for a moment, I thought, gosh, what would happen? What would I do mechanically and tactfully? What would I do running through the house if lightning struck our house? Get the kids out, get the dogs out, make sure everybody's safe. But I've got a couple of things in the house that mean a lot to me personally. Would I try to run and grab those things? And in Jesus' teaching here, he's kind of like, look, what I'm doing for you, and this is why John 5:24 was so vital to end our service with together, because you have passed from death to life by believing in what Jesus did for you on the cross, there isn't anything here that is going to match what he has waiting for you. It is not even close. So don't attach yourself to things here. So here's what I want to help you apply this week. What are you most attached to? And I just want you to see it. Just, visualize holding it in front of you and just be honest about how much it means to you. And just ask this question: does it mean too much? Do you need to demote some of these possessions or your reputation or the ideas you have about what your spouse or your friends or your job means to you? Are they more primary than they ought to be? Reflect on this week and just have an honest conversation with God about why those things mean so much to you, and how can you let Jesus' love for you help demote those things in view of what God has done. Have a great week, Church of Main. Love you guys. Look forward to seeing you this Sunday.